Today's podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. Well, she's a speaker, best-selling author, a podcaster, a grassroots organizer, and a homeschooling mom of 10. Yes, you heard it, 10. The activist mommy, Elizabeth Johnston, joins us today, and we're going to talk about everything from raising kids to infidelity to politics and so much more. Stay with us. This is the Moms for America podcast. Each week, leaders and everyday champions tell personal stories, share advice, and tackle the issues most important to moms. Hi, moms. I'm Debbie Curlitis, your host, and welcome to the Moms for America podcast. So glad that you're joining us again, mamas. If this is your first time, super duper welcome to you. We're so glad that you're here. Every episode we get together to inspire, encourage, and educate moms in their journey through motherhood. All right, well, on to today's show. Elizabeth Johnston is known as the activist mommy, but I can coin another term for her, the active mommy. Elizabeth is juggling many plates at the same time. Her podcast, the Elizabeth Johnston Podcast, covers a variety of issues important to families, and she is also an incredible speaker and author. And if that isn't enough, she's a homeschooling mom of 10. She's one of my favorites. Well, welcome, my dear friend, Elizabeth, to the Moms for America podcast. I'm so glad you're joining us.
Debbie, it is so good to see you again. You've been a great friend and such a warrior for so many years. And I absolutely love Moms for America. So super happy to be with you here.
Thank you. Well, we've been wanting to get you on. I know I had a chance to be on your podcast when we saw each other at NRB, which was great. Thank you for that. But as I shared in your podcast, and I want to let the audience know that we met at one of the very first, well, it's the first event I did with Moms for America back in 2017. It was the Moms March, and you were one of our featured speakers. I was there producing the show. My daughter and I sang, and we met there. And fast forward, all of us are still, Kimberly, myself, you, and so many other moms are still in the fight. Can you believe that that was like 8.5 years ago?
Yes, it was. And it has been a wild 8 years.
It sure has.
I never dreamed that 8 years would look like it has. But yeah, I think you told me recently that God kind of connected you with Moms for America through me, which I just had no idea until you told me that this year. So it's always so neat to hear those
Let me
stories.
mention that too. Let me mention that too. So the reason that I got connected with Moms for America, and oh my gosh, why am I not sharing that? Because it was the big piece that I was actually starting with, is that you had started the Activist Mommy, I think on Facebook, and I saw that you posted that you were going to be a speaker at the Moms March in Nebraska with Sarah Palin and Missy Robertson and Candy Carson. And I had, connected with Kimberly to say, hey, bring that to Chicago. I'm an activist here. I'm a producer here. Let's bring that show on the road here. And so it was through you and your post sharing that you were going to be there. So I just love that God does this stuff. He puts us all together and we're like, wow, this is really Mona Corwin, Tina Griffin. I mean, a lot of these people, that are just continually in the fight right now. So
social media is wild. Like I've had a woman tell me she was on the abortion table about to get an abortion and stumbled across a post of mine and chose life for her baby. Like what?
Come on.
I've just had the craziest stories come to me just because of consistency and faithfulness in posting the right things, standing for righteousness, protecting children, equipping families. So that's just encouragement for your audience to not fear what people think and use the platforms that you have available to you to say and do the right things and watch what God does. I mean, heaven will tell the stories. Had I not interviewed you a few months ago, I might not have ever known that story, but heaven will tell the stories of the children that are rescued, the lives that are saved, and people's lives being impacted through what we do just on social media from the comfort of our own homes. It's crazy.
It is crazy, crazy good. And I'm just delighted to be in this fight with you. And, You certainly have paved a way for life, for children. You talk about the culture. There's so many things I want to chat with you about. But first, could be a couple moms here in the audience that are not familiar with your story. Let's start out with the fact that you're populating the world right in your home.
Something like that. Yeah.
10, 10 kids. Tell us about your tribe over there. Come on.
Yes.
Brag on that one.
Oh my gosh, they are my absolute joy. I am the mother of 10 children. Yes, I gave birth to them all, and yes, I know what causes it. That's what I'm usually asked. Um, and
Age
yeah,
groups are what?
my
Youngest?
my youngest is 9, my oldest is 26. So it is wild. I have 6 adult children now, and that just feels so weird because when I started the activist mommy, gosh, I'm trying to think if I even had an adult child at that time. If I did,
Yeah,
it was only, maybe one.
right.
And so yeah, I have 10 children. I have homeschooled them from the very beginning. I mean,
I
Jesus.
mean, we're all sitting here going, wow, how did you do that? But all things are possible.
Yes, they
And,
are. Jesus
know,
turned the world upside down with 12 disciples. I thought, how many children can I have to make an impact for the kingdom of God? And so, yeah, that's what we
did you
did.
always want a large family? I mean, was this the plan? Or did you just like, hey, I could do this again? Hey, I love having kids. I mean, was it always like,
No,
I'm
no,
going to have a
no.
large family? No.
It was
Okay.
very hard. It was very hard. I remember I did want to see what the Lord did, and I really did count the cost when I was in college and I was entering into what appeared to be, marriage. I really counted the cost because I was already a leader. I started the first pro-life organization on the campus of Florida State University. And I had a lot of, leadership qualities.
Hmm.
And so I was fully aware that immersing myself in motherhood was possibly going to look like dying to a lot of that in order to do mom life well. Because if I'm going to do something, I want to do it with excellence. And I did not want my children to be pushed off to the side, even for good causes, even for
Yeah.
ministry. And so that was a real soapbox of mine as I began to have children is that we not allow our kids to be collateral damage in the ministry or with activism or anything like that or with work. And so I went all in on my kids and I threw away any other aspirations, if you will. And yeah, to me, it just made perfect sense for them to be home with me and me educating them and teaching them. I mean, I saw what they were teaching in the schools. This is
Yeah.
when Clinton is president and
Hmm.
Obama, and we have crazy stuff going on in the schools, the public schools. And I'm just like, not my kids, not on my watch, absolutely not. Beside the fact that I just adore them and love being around them, and so
Yeah.
it never made a whole lot of sense to me that you get married to this person that you love, you create these humans that you are obsessed with, and then the husband goes one way, the wife goes another way, and the kids go another way, and
Yeah.
never the twain shall meet. That didn't make sense to me, and so we chose homeschooling as a path, and I have absolutely loved it. I'm still homeschooling all of my children, the 4 that are left, that are minors, and yeah,
Well, now you probably got it down to a science now after you went through the first group there, right?
oh,
And there is,
I'm always learning actually, Debbie.
oh,
I don't
I'm
claim
sure.
to be an
And how the
expert.
culture changes too, right? We're
Yeah.
always incorporating all that into our kids' learning.
And technology changes.
Right. Yeah.
So you've got to pivot. You've got to always be nimble and always be willing to pivot. But I was
Yeah.
so happy as a homeschool mom, Debbie. That's all I ever wanted to do. And
Oh, that's so
I
great.
was carrying a diaper bag around and bottles and sippy cups and just living my best life. Had always taken my kids out to the abortion clinics on the front lines, to the sidewalks to pray.
Yeah.
And we would bring a guitar out, we would sing, we would worship. Women could hear us worshiping from inside, and they would come out and talk to us and choose life for their children. And let me tell you, that marked us. That
Yeah.
completely marked me and my kids. When you begin to see babies that you're throwing a baby shower for, or pictures that moms are sending you of a child
Yes.
that would have been dead had you not been available and ready to be the hands and feet of Jesus out there on the front lines of these slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
6 months earlier, that baby would have been dead. Like, you don't, you can't unsee that. It
No.
marks you for life. And so my kids never were addicted to video games. They've honestly been addicted to probably ministry more than anything, because
Yeah, that's
when you
beautiful.
feel that power that
Mm.
you have to make a difference in the kingdom, it changes you forever.
Yeah. Well, all of us, right? And you'll hear this all across the country. Moms bring their kids to everything. That's how we teach. That's how we
Yes.
train. If it's not standing up for pro-life, it's they become volunteers at Vacation Bible School, or
Yes.
they work for candidates that are pro-life. And we did the same thing. We threw our kids into everything that we did, from ministry to politics, and that's the best way to learn. That's the best way
It
to be the
truly
best
is.
student, best student. So let's talk about the kids here and having a large family. We're not seeing this much anymore. I mean, you are not the norm, clearly.
Mm.
I'm three. I loved to have four or five. I'm kind of mad about it that we didn't go the whole full route. My husband was like, "No, I'm done."
Yeah.
Now I tell this to all the moms. I'm like, have one or two more. I
Mm.
really wish I did. So I know that you don't wish you did, because you fulfilled all of your all of your 10. But we're not doing this anymore. The culture's We're not seeing large families anymore. What about that? Or what's the
Yeah.
average now? Is it two kids per household?
Well, it's really interesting. We're in a crisis,
Yeah.
underpopulation crisis. And
Yes.
for all of the leftists who have said for so long now that we're in an overpopulation crisis, it's wild to actually see, Debbie, mainstream voices
Yeah.
like Elon Musk and people like that saying, we're in an underpopulation crisis.
Sure. I think it
And
is 1.6
mhm.
children per woman.
Yeah,
I
and
think
we
that's
need
it.
to be having, I think it's at least 2.1 to even replace ourselves.
Right.
And so it is a crisis, and children are just such a blessing. I think children are wealth. I can remember reaching a place after my third where I didn't know if I could keep going. Those are the hardest days in the first several children, where they're all like little stair steps, and they're so helpless and they need you for everything. They're so dependent on you. And I can just remember rough days and
Mm.
nights, and thinking, I don't know that I can give them everything as a mom that they need, and the mom guilt that you go to bed with and
Yeah.
cry on your pillow at night, just thinking that you're not enough. And I also had kind of a traumatic birth experience after my third, and so I was really questioning myself after the
Mhm.
third. And it's so interesting. God led me to the autobiography of Hudson Taylor. And I was so convicted about this man's radical faith. Like, he would not have anything to eat. He just always trusted God. If his employer didn't pay him, he wouldn't ask him to pay him. He would ask God to remind his employer to pay him. And he had such
Powerful.
radical faith, and he impacted China in such an extraordinary way through his faith. And it was just what I needed in that moment when I was
Right.
about to throw in the
Just touched you.
towel
Okay.
after three kids on, continuing to give birth. It did touch me. And the Lord just said to me, um, you know, do you have faith to believe me that I'm not going to give you more than you can handle? And I look at my fourth and fifth and
Uh,
sixth and all the way to my 10th child.
right. You can't even
I
imagine what life would
know.
be without that if you didn't say
Yeah.
yes, Lord.
Yeah.
And
So,
he didn't send you, and he sent you the children. I mean, he just blessed your heart,
yeah,
and he
you'll
said,
never
I'll give you
regret it.
more.
I have
Yeah.
heard a lot of people look back with regret, wishing they had had more children or
Yeah.
wishing they had started earlier. But I
And
have,
wishing they didn't buy that lie of feminism that once
yes,
you have a child, you're in a prison. I
yeah,
mean, they have really, and you and I are both in the square of discussion with women on a regular basis. And you will see some women come up and say, boy, did I really wish
yeah,
um, I followed my dreams of having a family, but I believed the lie that
yeah,
the feminists sold, and I I just never was able to go back on it. It's tough to hear that.
Have you ever heard a woman say she regretted having her children?
No.
I actually haven't either, even in all the crazy
Even
situations
in
I
the
found
toughest,
myself. Yeah.
right, even in the toughest situations,
Yeah.
there's nothing like a mother's love. All right, more with Elizabeth right after this break. Stay with us. Hi, moms. I'm excited to share some news about our new sponsor, the Herzog Foundation. We know you're passionate about raising patriots and empowering your children with the best education possible. And the Herzog Foundation shares that passion. They're dedicated to promoting liberty through education freedom and helping parents like you choose the best educational path. They offer a powerhouse of resources designed to support families and schools alike. Whether you're ready to dive in headfirst to the world of education or simply looking for more ways to empower your child's learning. From free training events to their must read online publication, The Lion, they're committed to keeping you informed about what's happening in education. Also, if you've ever thought, moms, about starting your own Christian school or co op, their School Box online course will give you everything you need to get started on the right foot. Again, we are so proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation, and we encourage you to explore all their amazing tools and the insights that they offer. So go ahead, visit herzogfoundation.com to learn more. You won't want to miss these incredible resources. Again, find it all out at herzogfoundation.com.
I've never really felt comfortable sharing pictures of my kids on social media. Then I found Tuvu, a premium social app with an actual, authentic community. No bots, no one trolling me or my family. Just clean, wholesome content you can trust.
All right, welcome back, moms. But before we continue our interview with Elizabeth, please, please, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast here. This is how we get our message out. This is how we let everyone know about our podcast and, of course, about Moms for America. Also, if you have an idea or a topic, any feedback, you can go ahead and email me directly at podcast@momsforamerica.net. I would love to hear from you. Lastly, I do want to invite all of our moms listening to join the movement here at Moms for America. I really do hope that you are part of our movement, our family. It's moms like us. We're uniting all across the country and we're fighting for faith, family, freedom, and the Constitution. How do you join? It's super, super simple. You go to momsforamerica.us, which is our website. You fill out the newsletter. You join the movement. There's all kinds of resources available for you there. So sign up, join the movement. We would love to have you. All right. Now back to the interview with Elizabeth. I get so much. I want to kind of ask you this one here too. Now, to the moms that are listening, if you haven't checked out Elizabeth's Instagram page, please do. Activist Mommy, the whole thing. She's got podcasts, books. We're going to keep talking about all those. But I do watch a lot of the culture articles, we'll say, for lack of a better term, that you put on your Instagram, and they're always extremely timely, very current. I love that you're right in this space of the discussion. There is a challenge that you talked about regarding the Kiss Cam story, and I want to talk about it because your post was very revealing
Mm-hmm.
into your own situation, and you described yourself in the article as a survivor of infidelity.
Yeah.
And you also, you used this kiss cam cold play adultery story that happened, which we've all seen, if not 100 times, 5 million times.
Right.
And there was a lot of discussion about it, from people laughing at it, making jokes about it, being infuriated about it. And you said this is not a laughing matter. And you shared your story. Can we talk a little bit about this? Because I know women clearly are survivors of infidelity.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I guess I never mentioned kind of how any of the activism got started before I hit what happened to me in 2020. And like I had mentioned earlier, I never planned on having a platform or being a public figure. I was super content as a homeschool mom, and I began to actually speak out and really make waves in about 2016 when Obama issued his transgender bathroom directive. And we were told that 200-pound men were going to be in the showers and locker rooms and bathrooms of our little daughters. And I just thought,
No, yeah.
this is insanity. I don't even recognize my country anymore. And so at that time, I began to speak up. I created the Activist Mommy page, and filmed some videos, not knowing if anybody was going to watch them, and stuff just went crazy viral. So many things that I did, like 16 million, 17 million views. And so the Activist Mommy was born at that time, and it was shocking to me. And, that just turned into a lot more things as I began to walk through open doors that the Lord gave me invitations into the White House to interview leaders and different things like that. So, yeah, that's where I was in 2020. And really, the bottom dropped out from underneath me and the kids, and my marriage ended in 2020. And I had been quietly enduring different bouts of infidelity throughout my marriage. And I always believed that we were in the clear and that we were doing fine and that we had turned the corner and the counseling had worked. I always really believed that. So it wasn't as if I was faking it or trying to act like anything other than that was the truth. I just truly was.
And when you have a family like
Yeah.
this, you've got a lot of children there.
Yes.
You have built an incredible life together.
Yes.
This is not easy. I'm not speaking for you, but I mean, think about that. You are in it fully.
Oh, it's everything.
Yeah.
And I had a high tolerance for pain, to be honest, for emotional pain. And I can let a train run over me for my kids. And so that was kind of where I was that I could put up with a lot for the sake of my children and keeping, my family together and, them having a father in their lives and all of those things. So, but ultimately it hit a point where it was no longer healthy for my children either. And that's where a lot of women actually struggled to come to that realization, is that I think I'm hiding all of this from my kids. But then you find out maybe years later that you weren't hiding it, that they knew more than you realized. And I did find that out years later, unfortunately. And so, yeah, in 2020, my marriage ended, and it was shocking because here I was, this family activist. And I mean, articles were written about it, and people, mocked it and, poked and made fun and all the things that you can imagine. It's hard enough to go through that as in private, but to go through it as a public figure is secondary trauma, if you will,
I can't
and
imagine.
a double wound.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the Coldplay Kiss Cam story went viral and everyone's making memes and, reproducing it for their own purposes and whatever, it was hard to watch because here they were also going through this in a public fashion. And I just took the opportunity to say, this isn't a laughing matter. The marital covenant is sacred, and raising our children in the safety of the marital covenant is very important. It is why gay marriage should have never been legalized. And actually, big story right now, Debbie, is Kim Davis is going before the Supreme Court. I believe Matt Staver with Liberty Counsel is representing her, has been representing her now for a decade. She is going before the Supreme Court on her case, which is still pending. And that was one of the things, actually, one of the first things I did that got me off of the sidelines was the Kim Davis issue, where she would not sign the gay marriage license, the Kentucky Clerk of Court. So she's before the Supreme Court. And would you believe, Debbie, that Matt Staver has said this has the potential to overturn Obergefell, which was just put a sledgehammer through the sanctity of biblical marriage when gay marriage was legalized. And so that is a huge story right now. Huge
It's
prayer
kind of like what
request.
we saw with Roe v. Wade. I mean,
Yes. Yes, this is huge and a serious thing for all of the praying mothers in your audience to really be taking to the Lord in prayer. But yeah, we just saw the decay of a culture, I believe, as we watched the covenant of marriage be mocked in the way it was. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everyone was mocking it. There were many people behind the scenes
Yeah.
grieving and praying for these two families, where their lives were just um, shattering in such a public way. But yeah, the post went viral. It's like at a million
Yeah.
views right now, and it really struck a chord with a lot of people. If you look at the comment section,
It sure did. And it really kind of brought up the fact of where are we in the culture? And there were so many people devastated, upset, mad at him, mad at her, devastated on this play out in front of the world. So it's kind of like a lot of people, I was glad for it, sad for it,
yeah.
but glad to hear the discussion being talked about again, because this is something that a lot of people maybe didn't think was that bad, but boy, the culture surely stepped up. How do we talk to our kids about things like this?
Mm.
When something's like, how did you talk with your kids about this?
The word of God. um, I think the most important part of my day is family devotions with my children in the morning.
Mm.
It's nothing formal, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing difficult. I scream around the house, family devotions, call a family meeting. They know what it is, and they all come around either in my bedroom or in the living room, and we open up wherever we are in God's Word. Right now, it happens to be toward the end of Luke, and we read one chapter a day normally. Sometimes we cut it a little short of one chapter, but we go around the room and everybody reads two verses at a time. And so, for those that are still learning how to sight read with phonics, you're literally sitting there patiently listening to them sound out these words. But it's really a
This is how you
stake.
can start homeschool. I love this.
Yes, it's really a stake in the ground every day.
Yeah.
As for me and my house, we will serve the
Serve
Lord.
the
This
Lord.
is the most important thing for us. And the word of God is our meat. It's
Yeah,
God said you don't live by bread alone, but
that's
by
right.
every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And so I feel like if we haven't eaten that day of the word, we really didn't eat. And so we sit around and we read through a chapter, and I'll stop every now and then and comment on something, try to make it applicable to their lives. And we pray. And I pray for the safety of our family that day and for his blessing on everything that we set our hands to. And maybe we talk about what we have to do that day, any doctor's appointments or meetings, but it's just such a grounding and important time every day. And I highly encourage those that aren't doing that to try to work that into your schedule. Maybe
Amen.
for some it's at night. For us, I want to try to start my day. Every now and then we miss, it's not a perfect thing, but it's been really important. And there have been times when I've drifted from it and I could see it in my kids.
Right.
And
Even
even
for yourself.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely for myself. I mean, I need to have my own quiet time that's different from this. But this
Yeah.
is my time with my kids. And just recently I was talking with one of my adult children about one of my children that's younger, and just some concerns, and prayer for them. And this one daughter was asking me, she's like, have you been really consistent recently with the family devotions? And I was like, you know what? We got off with the summer, something happened, or it was VBS or something messed us up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I got to get back on track. And so, yeah, it was neat to hear from my adult daughter who's no longer at home in the morning doing family devotions with me. It was neat hearing that reminder from
Yeah.
her that, Mom, that really grounded us. That really
It
made
sure
a
did.
difference in my life personally. And I'm concerned for this younger sibling that they need to be having that every day. So that was a neat perspective. I have this situation now where I have all these adult children and four
And they're
younger ones,
weighing
but
in.
it's really
Yeah.
cool because I
So
get
good.
the perspective of the ones that are really walking in maturity in adulthood, and they can tell me, okay, this you did not do well. This you did do well. And as long as I'm willing to be humble and grow from that's been really beneficial for me.
Yeah, that's me too. I've got a 27-year-old that's married now, and a 25 and a 20. And, the
Yeah.
27-year-old and the 25 will speak into just even for the 20-year-old, and
Yes.
and for all of us. And that's what we love, because we raised faith-filled children.
It's awesome.
Um, so that's so your family devotion in here too was essential. That's really how you probably worked through the challenges, and that's how we work through all the challenges,
Yeah.
by the way, in our culture and in our home. Um, it's challenging times just to raise kids in general.
Yeah.
So we've got
Debbie,
the
I want to point out one thing else too. Um, Really, when you have a large family, you create an ecosystem for your children of
Mm-hmm.
support, of
I
other
could see that.
like-minded friends. It really is a thing. And for those who've not experienced it or not had friends that are in large families like that, where the family is close and they're like-minded, it might be hard to explain, but it's powerful actually. And there have
Yeah.
been seasons where my kids have struggled in their friendships and relationships. And I sit there and I go, thank God they have
God.
each other
Yes.
because they
Because
really do have
right.
each other. They lean on each other and are supported by each other in a way that it's just powerful. And it is God's natural design. I know some people can't have a large family physically,
Right.
like not it, there are exceptions to the rule, but generally
Mhm.
speaking, this was God's design. God
Yeah.
gave a woman a window. And that window is pretty, I mean, it's a good 20 years or more, if not
Yes.
30. And if she takes full advantage of that window, she creates something incredible. And it's just wild that our wombs have
Isn't
this
that amazing?
power.
I know.
And we're
Every
not
time we,
utilizing it, you know? So I really
right.
did give this thought in my college years. I was like, okay, how can I make the biggest impact? Because I was just like, I want to be a world changer. And I actually decided and believed firmly that the greatest way I could leave an huge imprint on the world was through having as many kids as I possibly could.
I mean, I know moms are listening to this and they're going to share this with their kids. They're going to share this with everyone because it is so powerful. When you say that, it is so,
Mhm.
so true. In fact, I was just with someone and they said, "Oh, we're a little bit older. We're just going to have one child." I'm like, "Why? Why
Mm.
would you have one? Have two, have three, just go for it. Don't put any limitations on yourself
Yeah.
and for the child too." And it's
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. The
Mhm.
children do. And again, there's always the exceptions.
Yes.
There's
And
always
so much
exceptions.
compassion for anyone in the
Right.
exception space.
So
Yeah.
we're talking in general, but if you have one, have two.
Mm.
If you have two, think about three because they have their friends. They have,
Yeah.
you have you have a baseball team. I mean,
A
you could do
worship team.
anything, right? You could do anything
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
And even with my three, they're so close they're so close and they need one another and they need them for the rest of their life. And I tell this to my kids all the time. God chose the right brother, the right sister.
Yeah. That's so good,
I
Debbie.
hadn't, I had no,
Friends
right?
come and go. They
Right.
are like,
We had no choice.
yeah,
God gave us that soul, that child for the exact purpose of our family. This
yeah,
is bigger than you and you. This is God. So it's so divine and it's so amazing. So I love that you're bringing that up and that how you have this center of influence when you have a large
yeah.
family.
And Debbie, I look back on my wedding video, for instance, and not one person that was standing with us, and we had a large wedding party. Not one person that was standing with us on that day in our wedding party, if they weren't family, are still in our lives. Like friends really do come and
Come
go,
and
and
go.
and we move and we get busy with having our own children, and
So
it's
true.
it's not that you don't still love that person, it's just the way it happens. But blood is forever.
Yeah.
And so in using this superpower you have as a woman
Yeah.
to create these humans that are then going to go on to create generations of humans is just, I don't know,
Yeah.
I could never tire of talking about it.
Yeah. It is a phenomenon. It is
Yeah.
something that you can't explain until it happens to you. You can't believe that God created it so amazingly
Yeah,
beautiful. And it's the greatest calling. It's the greatest job. It's the greatest.
it is.
It's the best deal. I don't know.
And
Jesus does these.
it's one of the first topics, Debbie, that actually kind of made me infamous was a video I did
What was
about, it was
it?
the 2016 Moms March where the women came out in all of their uterus costumes and everything. Remember
Right.
that? How wild that was
Yes.
after
Yeah.
Trump's first inauguration.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And oh my gosh, they came out just humiliating themselves and
Oh, they
fighting for
sure
the
did.
right to kill their
Hmm.
children, to,
Angry.
yes, to, be fighting for the right to marry women of the same sex, all the things. Okay. And I got in my 15 passenger van and scotch taped my cell phone, literally scotch taped my cell phone to my rearview mirror and hit record and started laughing at these women and saying, hold up, they do not represent most women. Let me
Oh,
just say that.
exactly.
And that thing went crazy viral, and became just a huge story. But it really resonated with most women
Oh,
across
that's
not only
exactly
America
it.
but the world. The feminists don't really represent our values. They are just a very loud and tenacious and patient minority
Yeah.
who never tire. Their
Small and
demons,
loud.
their demons
Yes.
never rest, okay? And they continue to fight for the right to kill children, mutilate children, kill biblical marriage, all of these things. And yeah, it was fun to see people respond so positively to that.
Well, that's exactly it. That's what I started looking for. And that's why I did find Moms for America, because
Yes.
I was furious that these women thought that they were speaking for me. And that's exactly why Kimberly did
Yes.
the alternative march, the Moms March.
Right.
And that is exactly why we all gathered around to say, who are these people that they think that they're speaking for me so loudly, so boldly, and they have all of this courage behind their words of craziness, and
Yeah.
it's like, where do you get this at? But it is a religion. It's what they wake up to do. I don't get it at all. None of us do, but and that's why we're out here in
And
the
lo and
culture.
behold, that's why we're here.
I know, that's
Otherwise,
why.
we would be just.
Yeah, we'll have to let them know the reason why we all got together was
Yes,
because they were so loud, and that's so true.
right.
They made everyone else step out and say, no,
They
it's
birthed us because
yeah.
we were very content baking bread, taking care of our children, loving our husbands. We were in the background before these women showed their
Yeah.
tails.
Yeah, they just rattled the nest way too much, and they
Yes.
got all of us working out there, and that's so funny, but that's so true.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about where we are now. I mean, there's so much still to talk with you about. You just talked about Chip and Joanna Gaines
Ooh.
is one of your recent
Yeah.
posts that you did, and you just talked about, the fact that traditional families are being redefined. There's a whole movement of traditional families called the
Yeah.
trads, which we're seeing women coming back to the home. Women are coming home. I love
Yeah.
that. And they are nurturing their children. They're figuring out how to work at home if they need to have some side money
Yeah.
and invest in their kids. But then we have the traditional family kind of being birthed again, which we love to see. And then we have still the culture pushing alternative family.
Yeah.
In this is just something that we're seeing on a regular basis. Gender confusion. I mean,
Mhm.
it is still a hot mess out there as far as families and gender
For
and our
sure.
kids.
You can't turn a large ship on a
Yeah,
dime.
right.
And the truth is, we have decades of harm that has been done to the family
Yeah,
and to children that it's going to take a little while for
yeah,
this ship to turn. And there's not just a political solution. It is as much spiritual as it is
absolutely.
anything. Now, we are very thankful that there have recently been some massive shifts, executive orders. There's only,
Yes.
two genders, for instance. And we're not
Thank
going
you,
to
President Trump.
Yes, we're not
Yes.
going to be indoctrinating and confusing these children in our schools, for instance. These are absolutely fabulous.
Protecting women's sports. We're not going to let
Yes,
biological men in the sports. Yes, have been some
fabulous
incredible
things
wins.
going
Yeah.
on. And this is why getting off your tail and voting is so important, and grabbing your friends and family to vote is so incredibly important, because
Sure
you
is.
made sure that your voice was heard this last time. And we are seeing huge impact in culture because of it.
Yeah.
And we have the spiritual side of things. We have to always be coming at this through prayer, through making sure that we are leading our children in a righteous way, that we have our own homes
Amen.
in order, because our impact as parents should be more powerful in our children's lives than anything else, whether
Yeah.
it's in the schools or political or culture or Hollywood, social media. Our voice should be the most prominent voice in their mind and in
The
their
greatest
ears.
influencer.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are seeing incredible things happening right now, and I'm super thankful for that. And we need to continue to hold the line
Yeah.
and hold our legislators accountable and protect
Right.
children. The next thing that we need to see happen, in my opinion, is total ending of obscenity and pornography across the internet. This should not be only for children, which again, we just had an amazing Supreme Court ruling that allowed requiring children age verification for kids to, view pornography. We should take it a step further than that. That's wonderful. But obscenity and trafficking it across state lines is actually already
Yeah.
a crime that is not currently being enforced. All pornography, basically, most of it comes from California and it's trafficked across state lines. It's already illegal, but we're not enforcing it. So I would love to work with Moms for America on
Hmm.
that, to collaborate
Yeah.
with you on that. I believe that's one of the next Goliaths that needs to fall. We've seen Roe v. Wade fall. We've
Hmm.
seen, the 55 gender garbage. It's
Right.
falling. I mean, it's going to take some
Sure
time.
is.
We're seeing clinics close, abortion clinics. We're
Planned
seeing,
Parenthood. How about this?
yes, we're seeing gender mutilation uh,
Yeah.
end in hospitals.
Yes.
This is just, this is
Yeah.
so tremendous, guys. And this is why we vote. This is why we get active in our city council and our school boards. This is why Moms for America is doing
Yeah.
such a powerful work, and why I would say to you, stay close to Moms for America. Hold up Debbie and Kimberly's arms and do everything you can to support what they're doing. Show up to their events and support them, because Moms for America has really been moving the needle for a decade. I'm so proud of you guys.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're so glad that you're one of our mamas and appreciate your voice. And boy, you're a champion and a warrior. I'd be in your foxhole
Yes.
any day, as we fight these battles, save our kids, and
Yeah.
really, defend America, because we need a
Yeah.
place where our kids can hope and dream and prosper and have their kids and raise them and
Yeah.
have a beautiful family. So there's so much on the line for all of us. And we think about our grandkids and just the future. Let's talk, we talked a little bit about Planned Parenthood and all the great, this is falling apart. It's all crashing down, and we're glad for that, because it was nothing but, it was never about birth control. It was all about aborting children, and we know that.
Yeah.
In pro-life, I do want to mention that you have a book, and this has really been, we started the conversation about pro-life. This was your first road of activism.
Yes.
Mine too, actually, here in Illinois, when
Really.
they revealed that they were doing the born alive abortions at Christ Hospital with Jill Stanek. So we
Wow.
surrounded that hospital because that was
Yeah.
a Catholic hospital.
What
And
year
so
was that?
that was a long time ago.
Wow.
That I can't even remember, 20 years ago, something,
Wow. Yeah.
where Jill discovered that she was a
Mm.
nurse that night, and she held a baby that they had put a garbage
Waste
facility room,
disposal.
waste
Yeah.
room. Yeah. And she held that baby in. And so these things are getting exposed. We never thought that that happened 20 years ago. And really, when she exposed it, they said, oh, no, that never happened.
Yeah.
Still, so you had to go through all of the drama of proving the truth. And so many of this, people just don't believe is happening, whether it's transitioning our children or what's happening in the abortion clinics or
Right.
the gender assault. And I mean, these kids are becoming, they'll never have children again.
Mm.
So let's go back to life, because
Yeah.
this is really fundamental. And you've written a book about it. You've defended it on a regular basis.
Yes.
Maybe just close out about the importance of teaching our children that basic truth of life.
Yeah.
Tell us about your book.
Absolutely. I was so happy to get to partner with Brave Books. I was one of their first authors, actually. I was their second author. And this book is so beautiful. Little Lives Matter. It really teaches the sanctity of human life from the beginning of life all the way to the end of life, and also the importance of just really valuing life when it comes to even special needs children.
Mhm.
And so this is all about a baby bear named Moby who is missing a paw. So he's special and he's missing a paw, and it's hard for his mom. And Culture the vulture comes into the book. He's a villain in the book, and he tries to convince mom that Moby is going to mess up her life. And she tells Culture the vulture where to go, as good mama bears do.
That's right.
And she continues to be a wonderful mom to Moby. And then the book takes you. I've got chill bumps right now. It always moves me. It takes you to the end of her life, where Moby is then helping his mother in her elderly age as she is facing the end of life. And Culture the vulture comes in and tries to convince Moby that he's handicapped because of his mom. And Moby tells Culture the vulture where to go. And it is the most beautiful story. I'm so proud of it.
I
And yeah,
love
people
that.
can get it at Brave Books on their website, bravebooks.com.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And I love that we're ending on life, because if you can teach that to your child
Mhm.
and they respect life and understand that they were chosen, God breathed life into their lungs. He
Yeah.
chose them. He called them by name. And once we understand the value of life, we can understand everything from that perspective. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And I'm so glad that you talked about that. How about some closing advice for our moms? Because it's tough out there, Elizabeth. We know that.
It is tough. One of the messages that I've preached around the country that has encouraged people so much is reminding moms that this takeover of our country was not accidental. It was very intentional, and we were warned about it in the 1960s. Actually, there were documents read into congressional record in the 1960s where it was very clearly put before Congress that there was going to be an attempt to take over our nation by radical communists and Marxists who wanted to destroy the family, because if you destroy the family, you do destroy a nation.
Right.
And so that is what we have been seeing. And the encouraging thing about that message is not be scared and be intimidated of these people. It is, if bad people with bad ideas could wreak such havoc
Mm.
on a nation, how much more can godly people with righteous ideas do with
Mm.
God on their side? We have
Amen.
incredible power with God on our side, fighting for righteousness. We have the God of heaven fighting for us and with us in these
Mhm.
battles. And I mean, I personally have had those David and Goliath moments. God allowed me and a lot of other mama bears with no money to take down Teen Vogue magazine when they were teaching
I
kids how to
remember that.
sodomize one another. And
Yes.
literally with a cell phone, a mommy at home homeschooling her kids, leading a charge, and other mama bears stepping up to the plate and saying, "No, you will not do
Yes.
this to our
So
kids."
true.
We took down that Goliath. Within 5 months, Teen Vogue printed its last print edition, and that was with zero funding. Okay. And so I've watched God do this, and I've watched how much he wants to work on behalf of those who are
Yes.
doing something that he can get behind. They're actually getting off their butts and doing something. And so that is my message of encouragement to us, is that this has been intentional. If
It
they
sure
could do
has.
what they have done, what can we do? They don't have God. We have God. And so get involved. Whatever that thing
Yeah.
is that God has made you so passionate about, it's going to be different from my passion,
Sure.
possibly, because we're all a part, we're all members of a body. And you're the pinky, I'm the this, that. We're all different parts and have different giftings. But just don't stay on the sidelines. Get out there, get off the bench, and you're gonna be floored to see what God does through your little humble efforts.
That's so true. Thank you, Elizabeth. And that's it. If it's not us, then who? And if it's not now, then when? Exactly. We've got to be a part of the culture. We have to let our voices be heard. We have to be the light in the darkness. And moms, this is why I love stories like this about Elizabeth. Here's somebody that said, putting it on hold so I can have 10 children. I come back and I start my ministry again. I have it a part of my family. I
Yep.
go through a rough time in my marriage. I don't give up. We
No,
even talk about the fact that you didn't give up and you could have.
no,
And
ma'am.
you come back and you say, Lord, here am I.
Yeah.
What can I do? How can I impact this culture? How can I save America? And most of all, how can I protect and raise my kids
Yeah.
for you, Jesus? So, amen to you, sister. Hugs to the 10.
Yes.
And I so appreciate you. I hope to see you in person so I can give you a hug personally. But thank you for all your good work. And to all the moms out there, let them know how they can find your ministry, your organization again. Elizabeth, please.
Yes, I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and then go to my website, elizabethjohnston.org. You will get connected through my website with my podcast. You can sign up for my newsletter. I would highly encourage you to do that because social media won't show you necessarily my posts based on the algorithm. But if you subscribe to my newsletter once a week, you're going to really see what's going on in culture. We keep you up to date on the most current pressing issues that are affecting families and that, parents are concerned about. So I would love for you to sign up for my newsletter at elizabethjohnston.org.
That's it. Well, you're a great resource for us. Thank you for joining us. God bless you, Elizabeth. And thanks for joining the Moms for America podcast.
Yes, you too, Debbie. Thanks for having me.
What a great interview with Elizabeth. What an amazing story. This is why I love this podcast. We encourage and inspire one another. So special thanks again to Elizabeth, and special thanks to all of you moms for joining us. You are a part of our family. I really hope that you take advantage of Moms for America, that we can help support you on your journey through motherhood. We have incredible programs, webinars, seminars, all kinds of information on everything really that happens in your home, everything you need to discuss with your kids, how you can make an impact in your home and your community. So please go to momsforamerica.us, check out all of our resources, join our sisterhood, momsforamerica.us. Love to have you. We're here to help. I always say this every week. It's from parental rights to public policy, and it's from the kitchen table straight on to Congress. Moms for America has it all for you. So join us. And as always, it's moms like us. We are changing our country one home at a time. So keep it up, mamas, and I will see you next week. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. A special thank you to our sponsors, the Herzog Foundation and Tuvu. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.